welcome to Creature Corner. I am your creature host, Jared Krichevsky. Joining me today is my very own tarnished, my beast of burden, my double jumping horse. Please welcome Matt Millard.
What's up, man?
It's all about the double jumping horse today.
I know, we love that.
We love double jumping or horses.
It feels good.
So today, Matt, boy, have we got a show today.
Man, super huge, nasty.
Big, man. Let me tell you, we talked about it for all of 10 minutes before we came up with what we were going to do.
Big prep.
That's because some days you're just like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah. In life.
In life. Like, what am I doing with my life? But that's kind of like what happens sometimes when you're just like sitting down and you're like, okay, time to make something.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you run into this where you have like 400 projects that you've started, 400 projects that you've got going. So you're like, do I just go to Noodle Town today? Or do I start new? Last week was The Fly, and that was just like fun just for like, just to do. But I thought tonight we would tackle a genre that's exploded in the last 500 years. We would do some folk horror tonight. So that's our theme. So I'm going to pop up some references that I got going on here. So folk horror, like if you think about folk horror.
It's a hard thing to say.
It's a hard word. It's a hard word to say.
It's a hard life we live.
But like kind of, it's hard to say what like really set it off, but I think The Witch was a big part of it. The Witch. So folk horror is mostly kind of we would say it's rooted in the forest. It's people coming into cults and they learn something horrible and new, and they're I don't know, they're transported to a world where people dress up in animal costumes and do scary cult like things.
Yeah. Had some good Midsummer.
Midsommar. Yeah, that great. Another great example. Yellow Jackets. I would even put that in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's many things, but it is absolutely has the folk element.
And so the folk vibe, right? So lots of like wood, antlers, and skulls.
Well, there it is right there. Antlers.
Antlers. That's another one. It's folk horror, right?
I mean, it's like folklore.
Folklore.
Horror.
Folkloric.
Right.
So I've collected some reference. These are just things that I put together real quick. I like the idea of something really messy in the beginning. I definitely like, wood and nature as part of like a costume element.
Mm-hmm.
I have this photo, and this is actually someone who makes costumes out of VHS tapes.
That's dope.
It's so rad. But there's something about the silhouette that's really, we were talking about this earlier, is Elden Ring or like Bloodborne, Soulsborne-y kind of thing. So there's something kind of fun about this silhouette. And then like gotta have like a pumpkin man.
You gotta have pumpkin man.
We gotta have a pumpkin man. Some just general vibey kind of stuff. Some dancey, culty things.
Yeah.
We were also talking about putting like a large abstract shape in there somewhere, because let's face it, shapes are scary.
Yeah.
Shapes are very frightening. And then also masks, because there's always a lot of masks, like baby face masks and stuff like that. And then
that's have the teeth. Yeah, I like that.
Gotta have it. Yeah, I love this gourd. It's a gourd, or it's a wasp's nest.
Just looks like scary teeth.
It just looks like scary teeth, which is pretty cool. And then lots of horrific pain imagery. Always fun. Always fun. So
Always fun.
always fun to do some really horrible, nightmarish stuff. So that's where I'm at today. Matt, I don't know. Did you collect some reference? Do you want to show
I
us?
did, yeah. Hearing about
Oh,
it was
okay.
like
We're gonna swap.
Yeah, swap it over. I have the last 5 minutes of the internet right here.
Oh,
Got some old guys, nice and skinny.
oh, he's skinny.
And I got this like kind of the
Yes.
same kind of spiny reference from
The Village is also
there.
The Village is also folk horror, right? That counts.
And I have a lot of like Zulu imagery because I
Yeah.
like the kind of headdresses, like you can kind of see like what you're talking about, like the earth and all this stuff is
Yeah.
in it, right? There's some cool artist imagery, like hanging teeth covering the face. It has like a silhouette break in it, and I think this kind of language right here also.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of just dread and nasty. And this is look at the scale of this golden hand compared to
weird.
That's kind of scary, right? Just having one big weird hand.
tiny heads and faces on like large creature things.
But yeah, you've got
that's cool.
You got this vibe, which is nice, and this is classic right here. This will probably be
vibe.
That'll probably be a little bit of a base, but there's that actual creature from the village, I think.
Yeah, that's wild.
But this right here will also it'll probably be mostly just creepy dude, big nasty cloak with a bunch of heavy bits, and maybe he's just
And
then I'll dig a little deeper, but I think I want like some animal skins, like bloody animal skins or something.
Oh, that's gnarly.
Hanging over his face.
So you've got your Jim Jammer, and I'm gonna pull up my Jim Jammer.
Yeah, we're going to Hammy Tamblin.
We're gonna go Hamby Tamblins, and then we'll fire up some scary time music stuff, and we're gonna fire it up.
Yeah, let's do that. Got my naked skinny man.
You got your naked skinny man. I also have skinny man.
Yeah, let's see your skinny man.
Let's see. I've been pulling up some other stuff, but starting with skinny man. Man,
that's creepy, skinny man, dude.
Yeah. Half of this was a Javier Botet
scale. Yeah.
And then I mirrored it over, and then he didn't have no legs.
He didn't have no legs.
He didn't have no legs. So I sculpted some leggies, and I think I like welded on some leggies.
Yeah, he went to Weld Town with them leggies.
That's fun. It's fun. Matt, how's your Elden Ring going?
Well, I haven't really been playing too much. Yeah, I'm just kidding, man. I have. So, it has been it's been an ordeal. I don't know how many hours. 140 maybe.
140 already?
Yeah.
I mean, I know people are diving in, and I'm very jealous. I just finished my script last week.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that email actually.
You don't have to read it.
I'm definitely going to read it.
You definitely should not read it.
I'm going to read it over, the toilet for the next.
I wouldn't recommend reading it at all. Ever. But it's interesting because writing as a part of your brain is very, very different than the act of making art, like visual art. And I was thinking about it. It's when I'm making visual art. We can talk. We can watch movies. We can do whatever the hell we want. But when writing, man, I need near silence.
Yeah.
I need
you need just your mind.
Just your mind. And it's interesting because there are times when you're doing the very clear writing aspect, and there are other times where you're just like you're taking dictation, like these characters are talking, and you're in the room. right? And you're just trying to like catch what they say. And then there are times when your brain just puts things together. You're like, oh, this should go here, and this should, this will pay off here if I do this. And that's the magic. That's that magic stuff. And that can only be achieved by bashing your brain in with a claw hammer.
Yeah, and sign up for magic stuff and learn how to smash your brain in with a claw hammer. Our new product.
Right? That's how we do it.
Yeah, it is it's also, I mean, it's just like any other creative element you have, you're in it and then you hate it forever, and then you're back and you're still plugging away. It's you just got to want it, really. I mean, that's really awesome that you finished it.
You have to be willing to understand that it's like every part of the process, like from sculpting to drawing, they all have a phase where it sucks and you hate it, and you're gonna quit, and then suddenly you just keep working on it, and it starts like getting better, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I don't quit, and then you're immediately back to hating it again.
Yeah. Or the next day you're like, man, I can't wait to get back in. And
I can't wait to hate this again.
What was I doing?
Why did I do this to myself? So basically, I'm just going to take this like ugly base that I've made, and we're going to cover it in cloth.
Yeah.
That's it. Because, most horror is, what you don't see. Oh, what's under there? What's going on?
Oh, what's going on? What's he doing? What's the big deal?
I like to cite Krampus as an example of that. It's a great, like, fun little example. Not folk horror. I mean, kind of folk horror, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Is it not?
Is it? I think it counts.
I mean, it's folklore.
Folklore? Is it all folkloric? Is that all folk horror is?
I don't know. I thought it was
like very culty, nature oriented.
Yeah, but cults are all, I mean, for the most part, they're following some sort of weird folklore, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, we worship this demon, we worship this god, or whatever. Oh,
here's a box of sand we found in the basement. Let's worship.
Yeah.
Archive 81 was that way.
Yeah, it was.
They weren't worshiping a box of sand, but they had an idol.
They weren't worshiping a box of sand.
I'm telling you, they weren't. They wanted to worship a box of sand, and I was like, guys, don't do that.
Guys, listen. Hey, thanks for calling. I really appreciate it.
Listen, I appreciate the feedback. We do consultant work, Matt and I. Like, they will call us about movies
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, and we're like, guys, you got to pay my fee.
Like, seriously, my fee. My fee.
My fee.
My fat nasty fee.
My fat nasties. I made a mistake posting on Twitter. I said fast nasties.
Oh man, come on! Did you delete it or did you leave it?
No, I left it.
Okay, well, it's a fast nasty.
Now it's a fast nasty. I have no regrets.
It's like if Vin Diesel made that joke.
Fast nasty. I don't know.
Me neither. That was
a terrible Vin Diesel.
That was a really good Vin Diesel.
Like sliced alone.
I was about to say you sound like you're doing slide.
I don't know. He's Groot. That's Vin Diesel.
Okay, so I made the regular guy a base skinny man.
So now you just have a skinny man for whenever.
And now we just got to figure out. It's going to be a fun thing because I don't really have a much more of a solid idea behind some of the points that we talked about, just like scary cloaks, and so it'll be like one of those things to where you're just kind of finding it along the way.
And let's start with the it's an idol, or like this. They always have an idol, and then there's the real thing of that idol.
Right.
Right. So they're like, oh, don't worship the yim yam man,
the yim yam.
Because it's and they pull out like the idol, which is like it's a baked potato with like some stringy fingers on it.
It's a baked potato.
It's a baked potato, and they worship it, and you're like, man, these people are crazy. There's always that one person who like stumbles into the cult, and they're like, oh, y'all are crazy, and they're like, no, he grants us great powers, and then he does. Like, it grants them all like psycho weird powers.
Psycho weird powers, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all accurate.
Yeah, I'm not wrong.
I'm not wrong, dude.
I'm not wrong here, man.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead
All right.
and close ZBrush and go play some Elden Ring.
The point I was making actually about that was that I finished my script, and now I'm just playing Elden Ring.
Well, how's that going, man?
Well, I missed Bloodborne.
Okay.
I missed Bloodborne, but I was just getting good at it.
Yeah.
And now
everything is just so different. Yeah.
So different. And now I'm really, really bad at Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to make peace with that.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start draping some clotheries upon our naked man.
So if you want to see how I'm doing it, I just made like a piece of flat geometry. That's it. Flat geo. A little cylinder just wrapped around his neck, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, and the other thing I recommend if you're going to do any kind of cloth drapery is create like a little poly loop around it. So go to polygroup, poly loop, and then create a little loop around there so you just have something to select and mask off.
Yeah, that becomes really important whenever you're doing like any sort of costume work, having the poly groups go down like the seams and where the borders are and the patches and stuff, especially with the dynamics, you can just kind of mask those parts off and push them around.
Okay, so I masked it off. I always set my gravity pretty low. And then I set my inflate value to low as well, like 0.05. And then that should be it. And then just go and hit the button.
Push the button.
Push the button. All right, so a few things are popping out right away. The arms aren't working. I realized that I want it open in the middle so I can have some, fat nasties coming out.
You need those fat nasties.
Gotta have those fat nasties. So that's a problem. And then, so what I'm going to do, polygroup these boys. Always love this part where you're like, no, select the loop that I want. Yeah, pseudo boots. Yeah, ZBrush has a cloth sim. This is fairly new. Fairly new from Bootstown. It's fairly new. It's I love it.
It's incredible.
It's really great.
I mean, it has the fantastic uses for actual cloth, but so many other applications as well. It's very nice.
We've talked about like using it for creature skin and wrinkles and all kinds of stuff. So I love it. So the other thing that I realized is that I want it to expand because I want it to kind of grow over the ground too. So I'm going to recalculate it and then to hit allow expand. That's it. And then it's going to grow wild. Okay, so that didn't work. That's my favorite part. Is like, okay, I'm going to show you this really cool thing. Not working. All right, we'll hit expand down here. These are like deformers for it. All right, let's try that. Okay, not yet. Turn off expand. We're just going to run it. And the other thing you might want to do is you can also move it, like use a move tool to expand it this way. And now we'll run it. There we go. Whee! So that's fun. That's what I'm doing. Matt, what are you doing?
So I am smelling like a rose at somebody. I'm actually going to do pieces.
Pieces.
Like multiple pieces of shredded cloth on his shoulders. I'm going to start with that. But what I'll do sometimes in these situations, just to block it out, is I'll use that transposed cloth.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like this is where it's at right now, but I haven't thrown it all the way down. But I'll back it up a little bit. I just got my geo, just like what you had, right there. And then I'll just kind of push it down. Get the
using
exact...
the transposed cloth
right
gizmo.
Right. And so I'll do that. Then I'll mask off my area, push a little more down. And then what I'll realize, I'm like, okay, I want some more resolution. There we go. And then like from here, you can even, kind of do this and it'll just start scaling it once you push it down. Whoops. And you can just start to get just a little bit of like really get your form in there and kind of keep that shape at the top.
That's really cool.
And then from there, I'll just mask off the top again and just run some really low gravity on it. Let's see here. That is way too low. There we go. And so now it's hanging over. It looks great. We're all having a blast.
Everybody's having a good time.
And what you can do is you just divide it up, and now you've got like your seams, right? Just like what you were saying. So you mask those off, get that cloth pull, and now everything is going to collide on the edges there. And that's how you're going to get those like specific looking wrinkles around like the, let's turn that on. There you go. See, it's already looks
nice.
kind of nice, right? And then ultimately, like I'll do that trick that you showed me. I'll duplicate this just for, oh, there we go. Yeah, whenever you use the, turn on that, what is that called? Sculptress? Sculptress? Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then you can just eat away at the edge.
Chew it away. Yeah. That's
like
my favorite.
After you get your look in, you can just kind of just go for it, right? And then the best part about something like this is you can just duplicate that and just start getting extra stuff in there already. Like I just pushed it up on them right here. And now it's already, colliding with the mesh and stuff like that. So it's a fast and fun way. I mean, it's such a powerful tool, the cloth stuff is insane.
Just being able to like do any cloth stuff at all in ZBrush. That's that was a very recent development.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute I got it, I took a scan and I simmed the scan so all the way so it just looked like dead skin. Was just like you'd skinned a dude and just like let him fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And I was so happy.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Finally I can make, sacks of skin the way that I've always wanted to.
Well, it's also like, before this, I know that Blender was on top of this.
They were
before Zed, but back in the day, I was trying to do stuff in Maya with like these heavy meshes and end cloth, and like it takes forever. But then you're in ZBrush
you're trying to go into Marvelous,
mm-hmm.
and Marvelous as a program is amazing, but like for me to spend any amount of time in there, I'm tearing out my eyeballs.
Yeah, I'm tearing out my eyeballs.
I'm tearing out my eyeballs.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, he tore his eyeballs out again. He's got stams.
He's got stammies. That was a bad one.
Stams from the milkman.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that everybody back in the 50s were getting all of their stams from the local milkman.
Yeah. You got to watch out for that milkman. He's everywhere.
It's scary. It's a scary thing.
Maybe we'll do. You know what we should do one night is we'll do the milkman.
The
You know,
milkman.
the milkman. The man with the stamps.
And here he is, the man with the stamps.
The man with the stamps. He's got stamps. So once I've kind of simmed my cloth on there, then it's just time to like break it up. You know, don't worry about symmetry anymore. It's cloth, right? The more symmetrical it is, the worse it's going to look.
Yeah.
We make the milkman. Guy who delivers your milk. Yeah. So, on to our topic for the night. I thought it'd be interesting, Matt, if we could talk about, and you know, we'll see what the people think, but what do you think about the debate of quantity or quality?
I would say just immediately that it's job specific.
Interesting. You know, well, job specific for like a gig, or maybe your portfolio.
Oh, portfolio. I mean, I would rather see, you know, some highly executed pieces than like 30 pretty decent things.
Yeah, it's your. I think if you're trying to get like break into the industry, you'll hear this a lot, which is like fewer pieces at a higher execution.
Yeah.
And then as you get more proficient, then you can maybe start executing more ideas. But if you're just trying to break into the industry, they'll tell you, give us less, but give us really good, really finely executed pieces. But then once you've got the gig, say you're working on something, and you come home and you're sitting down and you're like, okay, time to sculpt, time to make something. One thing that I did is I gave myself a deadline. And I said, okay, I'm going to do a creature piece a week or a creature a week. And, it's just on the concept scale. So it's nothing like full production. I'm going to do like a full model a week. That's impossible.
Yeah.
But if you can just do a sketch or an idea and just get at least one of those a week, right? And you do 3 of those in a month. That's 3 pieces you have at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you at least feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do the same thing. I would write it. I have to write stuff down like that in order for my brain to kind of take it seriously. So I'd be like in my phone and I'd be like, okay, well, if I want to do this project, I'm going to lay out the stuff that I want to get done by X amount of days. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd be like, by Wednesday, I want to be, especially on production, but like by Wednesday, I want to be on UVs,
Yeah.
And then, et cetera, right? So I would always have to write it down just to take it seriously, like to kind of make my brain remember, like, okay, well, we have agreed to this, and so this is our goal.
There is something about the act of writing something down. So if you have an idea, they say that the act of writing it down solidifies it in your mind. There's something about the connection, the neural connection from your mind to your hand to pen to paper that solidifies it in your mind. So when I was in plays in college, I would memorize my scripts by hand copying all my lines. So I would take a notebook and I would just copy by hand all of my lines down into the paper, and that's how I memorized everything. So if you have like a monologue that's 2 pages long, and I had to do that, writing it down and repetition was the only way that I could memorize that. But to your point, If you are like me and you're terrible at like bookmarks or like notebooks, like keeping a tidy notebook, because I'm terrible at that. Post-it notes have been my best friend. So my computer now is covered in post-its
That's cool.
from all the ideas I have, and some of them are just like, hey, here's a cool title for something, or here's just an idea. And some of those I've turned into actionable things. Others are sitting there, and even though they may not be in my like main, say, thought process, what happens is your brain is thinking about it anyway.
Yeah, it helps you remember too. You're like, oh, that's right, I wrote that down.
Yeah.
It's even like studying for a test. I mean, you do the same thing whenever you're in school. You're like copying down all the stuff you need to know. And
Or you got a dream journal or something like that. Like whatever you do, just like jot it down somewhere.
Mhm.
And it doesn't even have to be complex. It could just be like a couple of words. That's what you want to write, are words. Maybe scrawl an ancient symbol in your blood. It's up to you, is what I'm saying. How you go about it. But I like writing stuff down. I love Post-its, and what I like about Post-its is they kind of work how my mind works, which is just messy.
Yeah,
It's just messy and unkempt.
and just loose.
It's just loose. My wife is a notebook person, and she works as a production supervisor. So her job is insane, right? They're in production right now. She's up at she's out of the door at 6 a.m. and she's back at like 10:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what their schedule is like. And for her to do her job, she has like a production Bible that she starts scrawling out, and it has everything. So I am not like that. My brain is a mess. And so for me, Post-it notes, very helpful. Matt, what you got going on? It looks like you got some cloth.
Yeah, I've got my nice little strips here, but I'm just blocking in I got my little strips that I made.
Little strips?
And I'm just going to get some layers in and then just start subtracting and adding where I want to. I'll probably keep this whole area open down the middle or whatever. Might be able to see some cool stuff, like some necklaces or something hanging down in there.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, just kind of really just doing the best part where you're just winging it. You're like, okay, well, let's see what this does.
Let's try this. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Let's see what this does. What's that?
And then sometimes you roll back like 30 steps,
And you're like, well.
That happens all the time.
All the time. But that's the nature of the beast, I guess.
We like the beast.
We like that beast. I'm putting some fiber mesh on my dude.
Oh, nice.
Oh
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then when you put like an abstract face or something in there, it'll be kind of cool. One thing I learned just from doing some fiber mesh a lot recently is that I've had this like, do you make it a plane, or do you make it a tube? And what I've noticed is, when we, you and I when we're rendering for concept in Keyshot anyway, is that you can just do a plane and it looks exactly fine.
Oh,
There's no reason to like have any thickness to it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure 100 people will disagree with me. I disagree with me all the time.
Well, I mean, it's just concept art,
It's just concept. It's not real.
It's not real. I mean, you're but ultimately, I mean, that's what a lot of places use. I mean, especially if you're saving render time, just by not having those three extra sides is gonna save you hours and hours and hours on renders.
Wow. I just realized I created way too much geometry. That's really heavy. But that's the jam. That's the jambo. Matt, have you watched any scary movies? Do you watch scary movies?
I actually hate scary movie. No, I just saw X.
Oh, you saw that
Yeah,
in the theater.
I saw it in the theater.
In the theater, and I saw the trailer for it. It looked great. What was
Yeah,
your
it's a it's a it's a weird one, man. It's
yeah.
I think off the bat I wouldn't say it's scary. But there's some serious gore in there. The storyline is very comedic. There are some comedic tones
It
in
definitely
there.
like I got some funny vibes from it.
But it is like a love letter to Texas Chainsaw Massacre as far as
That's awesome.
some of the cinematography goes and the color grading and how they're shooting their shots. And it's like 1979 in Texas, so it kind of has that whole vibe, a bunch of hippie guys going off to a crazy place, So I would say definitely check it out. I don't want to talk about it too much because it'll totally spoil it.
Well,
but
we know we're very
weird.
bad about spoiling things, so we don't want to spoil it. But
Yeah,
maybe in about 6 weeks or so, we can finally talk about the Batman.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a very, very wild movie. So yeah,
I'm glad to hear that you saw it.
It's true that I did see that movie.
You did see the movie.
I promise.
Have you messed around? Let me ask you this. I got a question. Okay. Have you ever messed around with the micro poly yet?
Oh no, I've just now started using nano mesh, dude.
Okay.
I'm like 100 years behind.
Let me show you the micro poly then. This is fun. So any mesh that you have that's low res, like low res enough, and you have, nice even quads. So it doesn't really work well if you have like a decimated mesh or anything. But this is pretty fun. So in your geometry dynamic subdivision, turn on dynamic, but down here, right? I'm gonna pull up the magnifier, but there's this little micro poly button, and you turn that on, right? And it gives you this little menu of like fun stuff. So like here's a menu of like all your little here's some cloth weave, or here's some clothy ropes or rope.
Oh damn, they got a chainmail in the damn
menu. They got a chainmail. They got a chainmail.
Click on that chainmail. I want to see.
Which chainmail? There's like 6
in the middle. Yeah,
right here.
That one.
So that says knit.
No, man. Up 2 and then 1 left. Okay, or that one's fine.
Oh, okay. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Yeah. Go up 2 and then over.
Up.
Right there.
This
I
one.
Want to see that? Yeah, that's the one I want to see. That exact one. Yeah, so it's like nano mesh, but it just populates it differently somehow.
Yeah. It basically replaces every polygon with that geometry. So right now it's a little spread out.
Yeah, just because of the length of the quads.
Yeah,
I get that.
You can hit a line. And it's it's based off if your polygons are stretching. So let me show you. If I remesh this, if I just do a standard remesh, I'm just going to hit same and remesh it. So that should even out the polys a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you turn it on and you micro poly and you get your nice, now it's much more even.
Mm-hmm.
So that's chainmail, but check out some of my favorites, which is like this cloth one, which looks kind of ropey.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, so I think I understand. It's like nano mesh, but the things that they're using are built to be tileable, and so it's like actually tiling that material or that tiling that tool onto got it. Yeah.
The best part about it though is it's all, you can still like mess with it, and you can still use your clutch dynamically. It doesn't mess any of it up because it's still looking at this low res geometry for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it, man. That's the Jambo.
That's awesome, dude.
And I thought this would be really fun for, some folk stuff. Because
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna have
all,
to
for
check
them,
that
it's
out.
all about like thick cloth. But if you're, if any of it gets stretched, and then you get some like happy accidents where the pattern kind of like swirls around this way. It's just kind of fun.
Yeah, that's neat.
We're having a good time.
I'm gonna have to play with that.
I think you're gonna have to play with it. Maybe I'll pick out some different ones. Just try it out. Some of them feel like heavier than others. I like the ropey. You can also make that geometry later if you want to like keep tweaking on it. I'm gonna stick with the wires. And also that all that stuff transfers over to Keyshot really nice. So I haven't noticed any like bog, it's not bogging anything down.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try that on a couple of my projects that I have, because that nano mesh is starting to kill my my renders. Like I can't get them to I can't do GPU renders anymore. I have to do CPU.
Because your computer is dying, right?
Yeah, it is passing away.
It's so sad. So a little trick I'm going to do with this head, right? Like I talked about wanting to create like an abstract shape.
Mm-hmm.
Something kind of weird, pseudo-religious, kind of abstract, popey kind of shape.
Popey.
But like if I don't want to sculpt it, one thing I'll do is I'll decimate it really low, and then let the triangles from the mesh kind of come up with some interesting shapes that way. I'm going to pre-process, and we're going to decimate.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's cool.
I've done this with hard surface too, where you just take a shape, you sculpt it out a little bit, and then you decimate it really, really low. And for some reason, working with triangles, you can come up with some like really cool, more hard edge shapes like that. So let's start this. Do also like pointy things. Maybe something like triangle head.
Pyramid head?
Pyramid head. That's him.
That's him. That's the one.
That's the guy. Big pointy shape. Big pointy shapes. Going back to our topic of quantity over quality, another thing that I find is always helpful is if you kind of break your projects down into like big, medium, and small. So like, here's a small project. Here's something that can scratch my creative itch. Here's something that I can get quickly that I feel like I can, just bang out real quick. So if you go back to like the beginning when we were doing like zombie head sculpts, like just a head, right? A head is kind of like the fastest, easiest thing that you can get done. And if you do like a head a day or, a head a week, you can get real practice in and feel like you're, scratching that itch. Because if you tackle a project that's like going to take you like 6 months, like Goliath, right? Goliath is one of those like long-term projects where I've decided like, okay, I'm going to spend like 6 months on this.
Yeah, it's also one of those things to where it's very easy for artists to want to make everything the the big project. You know, you're like, because you're creative. You know, you're like, oh man, I could do this with it. I could do that with it. I could do all this stuff.
That's the very guilty pleasure of like of wanting to, you know, just do everything to the most extreme maximum design execution. Now you're like, oh man, I'll take it into Unreal and I'll do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that he's animated, and I'll find a friend to rig this. And
yeah, exactly, dude.
And you're like, or I can rig it myself and learn, dive into rigging for a year and a half and never come out on the other side. I've done that, by the way, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna learn to rig this month. 6 months later. That's the other thing is, well, we were talking about this off of Twitter, but like how animation is kind of miraculous in 3D. It's like whenever you see something animated, you're just like, man, it is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially whenever you only work in still images, you know, it's always, I mean, this is what Max Dion used to say in Gnomon. He'd be like, yeah, man, that's a cool picture. Now make it move. And then you're like, dang, you're like, dang, dude. Yeah.
You're like, okay. I mean, but when we went, you know, they didn't have Mixamo. And they didn't have, you know, mocap, you know, whatever. Like mocap was happening when we were, you know, mocap was a thing when I went there, but it wasn't like so prevalent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know like what classes and stuff they have now. I mean, I guess you're saying they just have like all those tools readily available.
Well, you know, I know a lot of people are putting stuff into Mixamo just to get basic movement on stuff, but Hossein Diba, I saw a tutorial of his, and he was taking like metahumans, right, and because they're all pre-rigged, he just sculpts them up, and then you know uses the metahuman.
Yeah, it's just like a huge kick-ass base mesh.
It's yeah, because it's already, you know, it's already got the UVs on it. It's already rigged. You can apply mocap that you capture with your webcam, and you know we didn't have back in my day. We didn't have such things. Oh, I found a baby head. I'm going to use this baby head. Was this our baby head? Do you remember?
That is 100% the baby.
That's the baby. Okay,
that
great.
Is 100%. Oh God, I can't believe
I kept
doing this to me. Oh, I've got it too. I've got the rig. I've got the baby rig.
You got the baby rig.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the baby in there.
There's a baby in there.
There's a baby? Yeah, doll heads on anything. What happened to the baby? I think I hit something and like the baby exploded. All right, we're gonna delete that. We've got to bring in a new baby. Come here, baby.
For the love of God, Your Honor.
For the love of babies.
Baby.
Your Honor, it's just a baby. You know what? My answer to anything when it's not working, just decimate it.
Just go for it, man. Just decimate it.
Just break it. Oh, Matt, you got a question?
Oh yeah.
How's your metal band?
Man, it's two guys, and it's actually a dude that I used to play death metal with years and years ago. But man, he's got two kids, fosters a kid, his own business.
Wow.
So every now and then we get to hang out and work on some tunes, but I mean, desperately hoping to get another song out because it's just fun, and it's another an incredible form of creativity for sure. That's cool. Thank you for asking. Who was that?
That was CGM Studios.
Oh, dude, what's up?
What's up?
Let's see here.
Do this. Matt, you know, music, like any creative discipline, takes time to get good.
People used to ask me how I got so good at guitar, and I had a job at Guitar Center, working the door, and I played guitar for 8 hours a day, and went home and played guitar, and I did that for like years. So yeah, it takes a long time for sure. Everything. And you're never, you're never done. You're always learning.
Because it's like any craft
Mhm.
that's worth picking up, any discipline, it's just going to take you a lot of time to get good at. I think you just can't like expect to like want to pick up a hobby and be like, I'm going to be amazing at this.
Yeah, I mean, some people have a knack for stuff, but I mean, even if you do, still, I mean, it just kind of doesn't mean anything, because you're gonna have to like maybe you naturally can like syncopate your fingers and your mind whenever you're playing guitar, but you are going to have to learn 4 years how to play proper guitar, what music theory is, what technique is, all of that stuff.
But Matt, I want to get good now.
Yeah. Don't we all?
I for about a summer there, and I tried to pick up a ukulele.
Yeah, that's fun.
And it was fun for a little while, and then I was like, "Oh, I suck." And so you always have that conversation in your head of like, is it worth continuing to spend time on something that I know is going to take years to master?
Yeah, I mean, like, what is your goal? Do you want to play Wonderwall and a couple of Green Day songs, or do you want to know an instrument?
I want to play the Eels.
Love it.
I want to play I Like Birds. And I want to play that song. What's that song?
Tim?
Where he's got itchy skin. And he talks about his skin being itchy. Ice Water. You ever hear that song? It's great song. Oh man, you got when we're done, you got to listen to that one. Connor. Oh, okay. Hey, Connor, what's up, man?
Yeah, man.
Connor's asking if either of us have 3D related tattoos or tattoos of production art you've made. Absolutely not. I will not. I can't put anything on my body that I've made because I made that mistake. I do have some tattoos, and hopefully for my birthday this year, I'm going to get a lot more. I think
I was thinking about getting some more too, but God, I mean, they're just so expensive, man.
I know. It's like you got to really decide to do it.
Okay, here, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Matt's going to be right back. Okay, so since it's just me, hi everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. So if you have any questions for me and not for Matt, you feel free to ask any questions. But not to Matt. Don't ask Matt anything. Because he's not here. So I found this weird mummified elephant. Look at that thing. So I really love the texture on this. This is like one of those weird reference finds that I'll spot out. Did I sing while playing the ukulele? God, no. God, no. No. Am I still rocking away as a creature sculpting teacher? That's right, I am. I still teach at Gnomon. We are in week 9 of the term at the moment. So next week, finals are due. So I'm still teaching. I love teaching. I love, sharing knowledge and, watching students come up. It's it's always very cool when you get students in the class who, because they're coming into my creature class at different levels. Some of them might have a lot of experience. Oh, Matt's back. Other students might not have as much experience, but every so often, like I get to watch students like go from 0 to 100, and then if they're going through the Gnomon program, I like to see where they come into my class, and then I like to see what their reel looks like at the end, because it's a total 180. Any fun Post-it notes currently on your monitor that you'd be willing to share with us? Great question. All right. So this one is project. It says Project Faces Against Black, right? And that actually ended up being that face project that I did, where I was like, here's an alien head, here's a ghost pirate. So that's how that started. And I still have like 400 heads that I want to make for that. But it's also something that I'm like, I can pick it up again. Another fun Post-it note would be, let me see. Had a great, I was watching a podcast. It was a live stream from David Finch, who's a comic book artist, and they were talking about it with other comic book artists. And he said one trick you can do with the horizon line is always put it at the waist, and no matter where the waist is, that's where the horizon line is. So you can put characters forward and back in space, but the horizon line will always be at their waist. So that was a tip that I picked up from a stream.
That's cool.
And I thought it was so rad. I had to like do a little doodle real quick just to remember it. So that's what I'm talking about. It's not just like creative notes, but it's also like notes that I'll pick up, along the way. I watch one channel on YouTube a lot called Film Courage, and it's writers talking about writing, directors talking about directing, producers, etc. And I love all of those because their interviews are great, and they do apply to the creative side. Even if you're not interested in writing or you just want to do CG, I always think you gotta listen to as many sources of information as possible, especially creatives. So
yeah, I mean, just learning people's thought process is insane. You know what I mean?
Whenever I can, I try to it's just knowledge. You're incorporating knowledge from other people, and hopefully, hopefully you can find a way to apply it to what you're doing.
Yo, what's up, Jared Modena?
What's up, Jared Modena? Let's see. Yeah, before your class and after my class, about 100% about face for sure in terms of quality. Well, thank you. You guys put in the work. Connor, you did a really awesome piece. So what I show you the path, but you must walk the path.
My dog. He's chewing that bone.
He loves that bone.
Loves that bone. Likes to hang out with Dad.
Well, you're the dad.
I love him so much. Just a tube of excellence.
He is a great tube. He's a great meaty tube, and we love him. I had to take my dog to the vet today just to get prelims for his teeth.
Oh, yeah.
He's got gnarly teeth, so we're gonna
He's got some issues.
He's got some issues. His breath smells like a fart.
Thank God.
So you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do for the gabagool.
Like a full-on fart.
Like it's bad.
Like it is my friend. It is a fart. So Matt, yours is actually looking, I think, more folk horror than mine. I love it, dude.
I'm trying to channel maybe it's. I mean, look at this. The idea of the skull. Like, I just took a couple of chimp heads, mirrored and welded. To get that.
Wow. Yeah. See, happy accidents.
But you keep that. Keep it to where you can. Whenever it's lit. It'll have some interesting shadows, kind of just that mandible popping out right there, almost having. And now I'm just getting some dready hair in there.
I'm going to pull some old creature arms that I've got. Use these.
Those creature arms.
Those creature-y arms, long and skinny, and full of peanut butter. Everybody knows creature arms are made of peanut butter.
It's the only way forward. Jared, what do your dogs chew on? Do they chew? Are they chewers?
They are chewers. Gilly, when she was a puppy, she destroyed my entire Game of Thrones book collection.
Oh, well, that was kind.
And maybe a little fortuitous.
Like she knew. She already knew.
She knew very early on. But we get him bones. We get him little. You can go on Amazon and there's like packs of like 50 bones.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll do that. Get them lots of bones. Also, like little dental chews because their breath stinks.
Yeah, I every time I brush my teeth, I'm like, all right, buddy, time for you to brush your teeth with a treat. And then I give them a steak.
Like.
Yeah, that'd be cool if that's what we had to do. Just eat
like a delicious steak and
eat some sort of
it's
cool
the equivalent
steak.
of going to the dentist.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's see. Question is, what studios are you guys at now? We're both freelancing.
Correct. It's all true.
None of it's true. I don't know.
I don't know.
I got nothing. Yeah, we're both freelancing. I do a lot of work with legacy effects. I love those. I love those guys.
Yeah, man.
Everybody there, they're my favorite people.
They're all cool guys. The times
They're
I've been
incredible.
able to work with them have been really fun.
I'm very, very fortunate to have gotten to work with them. Very, just amazing people in general. And then they're when they get your process, it's really nice. When they understand your process at that level.
Yeah, they like trust the process.
Yeah, right? That's the craziest thing. That's like the hardest thing to come by is just like trust.
Yeah.
There's a point in when you're, let's say you have a new client. There's a point when you have your new client and they're like they're nervous. I want to say like, so let's say they give you a week, they task you with a week or something. They will hit you up like Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And be like, how's it going?
So what's going on? Yeah. What's
going on? Because they see your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
They know that you can execute. They are hiring you, so they're actually offering to pay you money. And then they get, no matter what, they get really nervous. There's always like, I don't know what it is, even if they're familiar with the process. They just get really nervous and they're like, hey, so how's it going? Anything we can look at yet? And you're like, well, art takes time.
Yeah.
We're working on the process. So you have to kind of really baby new clients through your process. And it's good, you gotta make new clients. You gotta work with them. So like getting them, it in the beginning, it's a trust building process, because they get nervous.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was referencing to whenever someone asked quantity over quality. I was like, well, that just kind of depends on the client, right?
Yeah. So some of them want to see stuff right away, as soon as possible. Don't spend any time. Just give me a shape that I can comment on. And so you have to be like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, thanks Adam.
Thanks, Adam. We love you.
What are you doing, man?
What's Adam doing?
Yeah, what's he's doing? What's he's do's?
What's he's do's?
What C do's does he do?
What's he doing?
What the dog doing?
Who? Oh, you're funny. Someone's funny. He said, both of these creepy folk dudes are looking really cool. Oh, and the models are cool too.
It's probably, hey, it's pretty good. I'll give it to him. I like it.
No, I like it. It was good.
No, I like it more.
No.
I like it more.
Matt.
Stop. We are online.
We are communicating with the world.
We are farmers.
Farming. Yeah. Let's see. Brushing some Z's.
We going to Zed, baby.
We're going to Zed Town. Question was, caught a question from Robert.
Let's hear some.
Which questions. Was, who are some of your creature art inspirations? Well, there's my favorite, of course, is Wayne Barlow, who to me, like that, he was, the reason why I got into this.
Oh yeah, man. Barlow, Baskinsky. I mean, I think Frazetta was probably the first thing I saw as a kid. Like my dad had those calendars kind of like snuck away from like the 80s in his closet, and I'd go like look at them and be like, whoa.
heavy metal.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll pop this up. Here we go. All right, so this was the first book that I ever bought. and as a kid, and this was like,
That's
oh my
awesome,
god,
dude. That
yeah,
is awesome.
it was Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials, and
Mhm.
uh, what it just wigged me out because like I didn't know that these were from books, that he was designing creatures from books, so I didn't know
Mhm.
that. I just thought like dude had made most of these up, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is from this and this, and I started reading all those books that had these in there, and I would use these as kind of like, imagination guides. But Barlow as a designer, as an illustrator, is just unmatched. So yeah, so Barlow is just incredible. So this was like one of my first experiences, like oh, this is creature stuff. Like that was my
Mhm.
first book, and been following Barlow ever since. He had followed me on Instagram, and I think like I shat a whole brick.
Dude, that's
I
tight.
died as a small boy.
That's tight.
I also have a book that was one of my first books. It was called The Book of the Dragon by Cerullo. Let me see if I can pop that up. Book of the Dragon. And I'm sure you might have seen it. Let's see if I can find. There it is. So it was this book right here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and this was also my first kind of like creature. Like, what, dragons?
Mhm.
People are just like, I didn't know this was a job. I just thought like books just happened. But all those illustrations in that book, I studied. I poured over those for hours. Yeah, Barlow, Beksinski. I mean, Beksinski, I didn't learn about till way later.
Oh yeah, was the question just about
It was just
like
about your creature
childhood?
inspiration.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then, of course, Jared Morantz, who, when, I didn't know anything about concept art or whatever. And then I saw Jared's work, partially because I was introduced to it in his class. And that was like my light bulb. I was like, oh my God, I have to,
Yeah.
That's when I was like, I pointed, and I was like, in my brain, I was pointing. I went, I want that.
Yeah, that's basically the same reaction I had whenever I took your class, man. I was like, holy shit, you can do this. I was like, this is a job. What the hell's going on in this world?
And it feels every day like you're cheating the system.
Yeah, and it is one of those positions, absolutely, that it is difficult to break through. It's very, very difficult to get in it. You know what I mean? It really is. That's the question I get the most. Like, well, how'd you get into it and stuff like that? And it's a difficult thing. Like, some people are just super talented, but it's really just about like I mean, yeah, I mean, you gotta have like some sort of awesome factor in your work, but you really just got to know people, meet people, make connections, and be very like persistent. Don't let people tell you can't do it, because that'll only fuel you more.
There's a stubbornness as well. Like, you have to be so completely stubborn that anybody telling you no just only makes you want it more.
Yeah, right.
Because I forgot about this. Because that's I had an experience once where I was taking my car into a mechanic, and he was like, "So what do you?" I don't know. We were just shooting the shit, and he's like, "So what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm an illustrator. I draw."
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't tell people like, "Oh, I'm in CGI, VFX, because
like, oh, you work at Pixar?
Oh, you animate. No,
so you're an animator.
Yeah. So I don't do that. I just say I draw,
Mm-hmm.
and people understand that. if I try to explain like CGI and VFX and all this stuff, you know, they're like, "Oh, you worked on the Pixar," and you're like, "No." So we're shooting the shit, and he's like, "So what do you do?" And I'm like, "I draw." And he's like, "Oh, that's really cool. I used to draw, and then my dad said, don't do that. You'll never make money."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, see, I didn't listen."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he went, "Oh." I don't know if he was having a moment there, but you know, there's a little bit of a stubbornness, and there's a bit of like, you work on something and you want to show it to somebody.
Yeah.
Some artists are very shy about showing their work to other people. Whether it's like fear of judgment or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, and if you have that, you will never make it in the industry.
Yeah, you got
to learn.
Ooh.
Yeah, you are definitely going to have to learn.
Yeah, and it, you know, that can be hard.
It can be very hard.
It can be very hard. Even posting your work online.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most challenging aspects of the job, right? Because you're putting yourself out there.
You're putting yourself out there, and you're, you know, because once it's out there, and they're, you know, we always, I think, expect the worst case scenario as well. Like, you put it out there, and there's going to be some rando that's like, "You suck."
This is lame.
This is lame. You know, that there's going to be some voice out there that doesn't like you or your work. And of course, that's ridiculous, because that's all in your head. You know, a lot of times it's our own mind that's constructing the criticism.
Yeah, I mean, you're your own worst critic, as they say. And if you're not, that is also something to be thinking about as well. Like, if you're, because I don't know, I mean, this can be taken the wrong way, but whenever I meet those people that are just like super confident in their work, like, "This is my masterpiece, this is so good," and it's like, man, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if you're ready for the real world. I don't know. I mean, that's how I see it anyways.
Oh, man. I mean, we've all been ripped to shreds at some point.
Oh, yeah, big time. It's an important part.
You know, it's part of the process.
You got to kill your baby.
Not saying like there's also a difference between constructive and destructive criticism.
Oh,
as well.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you know, you can definitely, you know, destructive criticism is not healthy and it's not helpful.
That's like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. You're an idiot. You're a
donut, which is my favorite insult. I mean,
it's great.
Insult.
I mean, you are a cakey, delicious confection.
And it's just so good too.
It's very good.
So it kind of doesn't make sense, right? But that's okay. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to get on Twitter and call. I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
Well, I mean, you have the restaurant business in common.
Oh yeah, man. I'm sure he would love the grilled cheese that I'd make for him.
Don't worry, dude. I burned soup. So
yeah, well, I mean, I definitely know how to cook. I did it for a long time, but if he came over to my house, I straight up would be like, "You want a bowl of cereal? Also, can you leave?"
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
No one invited you.
Did you show up to be mean?
Did you just show up to be mean to me?
Man, you might want to rethink that. That's mean.
That's mean. That's not a cool scenario, man. I don't know why I'm giving this baby big horns, but I've seen like
Whew. I don't know why I'm giving this baby big horns, but here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. It's like sometimes you just like throw some shit on there and you're like, okay, let's see if it works.
Let's just get weird, baby. Let's just get weird. I don't know. Maybe I just wanted a baby. I'm also going to put a weird creature mouth in it too.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe,
Nice. Like gums and teeth, or like bone and.
Yeah, just like some teeth and bone.
Nice.
Stuff.
I like it. Yeah. So we've got horns. We've got.
What else? We need
claws.
dreads.
Yeah, I've got some dreads in there. I need to turn those on. Where are they at? There, boom. Turn that shit on. Get my necklace. About to start making a bunch of necklaces.
Always so many necklaces.
Yeah, it's like these guys, you know, they were the original like rappers with the bling, man, showing off all the goods. They're just
They had all the cool
they're
stuff.
dressed to the nines, dude. Everybody wanted their cool dreads, their sweet necklaces with the scary pendants on them. Maybe they've got, you know, bones hanging off of it. Yeah, we're gonna do that next. We'll get a bunch of bones hanging off of that. That'll be nice. It's also the only field where you can say, yeah, let's get a bunch of bones.
Let's get a bunch of
That'll
bones.
be nice. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty rock solid.
Every so often you find yourself like saying things or thinking things and you're like, I don't think I'd get away with that elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like truly what a blessing it is to be able to make monsters, because I would be useless literally anywhere else to society.
Mm-hmm. Like I always say, there's always a career in the produce section in Walgreens.
I mean, we could make monsters.
Yeah, but it's just important to note that there is
It's important to know.
There is no produce section in Walgreens, and that is important to know.
That is good.
We are some of the stupidest people I think I know. But that's what makes it work, guys.
That's why we're here.
We have smooth brains, no peaks, no valleys.
No valleys. No wrinkles.
Don't need them. It's soft. Soft. Oh, is that what does it?
I think I'm going to give it like a big tongue coming out too.
Yeah, you going big tongue style?
I'm going to go big tongue style. You know, I don't do a lot of like weird fantasy stuff. And you know, that's on me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's your fault.
That is my fault. So I think you know, maybe it's just the Elden Ring.
It has. I've got to tell you, man, From Software Games has inspired me more than almost anything else in the last 10 years. Like growing.
I agree.
And watching like the Stanston, watching, you got Rick Baker, you got Nika Toro, you got Tom Savini, you've got like the fucking coolest movies you've ever seen. But the From Software games, looking at their art books and stuff like that, like now I'm like, ooh, I want to make a guy with armor, or like, oh, I want to do some sort of, it's like, man, like it's really kind of expanded my interest, and I'm excited about all of it now. I'm like, yeah, what if it's like this and that, and what if your horse can jump twice?
I read a piece of an interview they did with him, Miyazaki. Yeah, and he said he wanted all his designs to have dignity. So an artist would turn in a draft, and with gross, nasty, because it was an undead dragon, I think they said, and it was covered in maggots, and it would look nasty and gross. And he said, no, don't rely on the gross factor. I want you to think about the dignity of this undead dragon, doomed to decay forever.
That is the entire theme of these games, is how sad everyone's life is.
Everyone is very sad.
Like the world is over and everybody's just ashes, and randomly you've been summoned back to try and figure stuff out. And everyone you meet, they're like, yeah, back in the day, I used to have this stuff, but now I'm worthless garbage, And that's why I kill. It's like
I want
deep backstory in there.
it's probably tapping into something kind of deep in the psyche of people going on right now. What you think?
I mean,
I think probably why.
I think that he's a masochist. Absolutely.
Oh, that's definitely for sure. and his kind of game aesthetic and like how punishing those games are.
Yeah, and he comes out and says it. He's like, imagine that's your supervisor, bro. And you're like, okay, so maybe they go into a poison swamp and it slowly kills them. And then he's like, yeah, I want to get that approved. And then Miyazaki's like, what if it's 100 times worse and impossible? and they die immediately unless they've been to one secret area in the game. It's like, man.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's very, very, very brutal. Unforgiving.
And beautiful and brilliant.
But it's beautiful. Yeah, what's interesting is it also kind of taps into a little bit of that old school gaming.
100%, man.
Where games were so difficult that they would really punish you.
Yeah, I think we talked about
like
this.
Playing their game felt like a punishment.
Yeah.
And yet you kept doing it because you're in a way the human mind is met, where we love to beat ourselves over the head with the challenge.
We love a good challenge, and we love that sense of accomplishment. That's what everybody wants, is to feel accomplished and to fit in and somehow be superior to the people that haven't beaten Sonic the Hedgehog in one life. You know what I mean?
There is, talking about that sense of accomplishment, there is a very cool feeling when you start leveling.
Oh, yeah.
You finally get to a point where you're like, oh, I beat that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. Because I'm only 13 hours in.
Yeah,
I'm a baby.
Multiply that by 10 at least. And that's where I'm at. Oh, Jared, the tongue is massive.
Yeah, I thought I'd go with like a massive mouth and tongue.
I like that. I like that. Good. That's great.
Because I didn't want to make it like just like a mouth and a tongue.
That's great, man. I like that.
Have we seen Kingdom Death Monster? I don't know what that is.
Kingdom Death Monster.
Kingdom Death Monster.
That sounds like the cue cards that my brain is like thinking of whenever I go to sleep. They're like, how weird is this dream going to be? Like, it's a celery fish stick murderer. Okay.
It's the random nonsense. Oh, cool. Well, I don't know what this is from, but it's very disturbing.
Yeah, what is it called?
Kingdom Death Monster. I don't know what any of this is, but I like it.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That is a really scary fly with a human baby head. Bumblebee, actually.
Yeah, I like the oozing coming out of the eye.
Saying it's a board game.
Yeah.
So
okay, cool.
It probably has a bunch of cool stuff like that.
Anytime I can get an orifice to ooze. I mean, we could do that now. We can make the eyes like cry and ooze. I want to get the tongue in there first. Like that's the. Yeah. Lots of like ropey cloth. I'm gonna find some other ways to kind of break the silhouette a little bit. I'm thinking about putting. I have a cat skeleton that I bought. It's pretty rad.
Oh, that's cool, man.
A really good cat skeleton. Sometimes you need a cat skeleton. You know what?
You know what?
You know what?
Chicken butt. Got him. Look at him. I got him. Classic. That joke's got to be 700 years old, man.
Like we're gonna find some like ancient Babylonian scrawl somewhere, and it's gonna be a dude pointing to a chicken's butt.
Does that
It'll be all
know
2D.
what?
So there'll be like 2D,
Yeah.
hieroglyphs.
I love that.
Oh man, that was great.
Thank you. I take a lot of pride in being super stupid.
We're very mature.
Human mature adults.
There we go. Got this little twig fan.
Twig man.
I got a twig.
That boy got a twig.
Man, I gotta tell you, I got all these twigs.
Hold a twig, baby.
Baby faces and twigs. Really some like weird shaman.
That's what we're doing.
And they're like, here, eat these people.
Okay, so
I mean, except for like, then there's like Midsommar, which is just insane.
Yeah, I mean that as a wild one. I liked it. I liked it.
I liked it.
Huge.
I liked
huge
it more
fan of,
on the. I liked it more on the second watch.
Absolutely, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I'm a huge fan of Hereditary, but Midsommar, I call it Midsummer, and I'm gonna stick to it because it's 2022.
No.
Hey, there's no need to argue. I see you trying to argue. Anyways, what's it called? God. Yeah, no. Second watch for sure.
Second watch, better on the second
Absolutely.
watch. Appreciated it way more on the second watch. First watch, I think I was so taken aback with how bright everything is.
Yeah, well, it's the cardinal rule. Like if you can, that's why Texas Chainsaw is so, effective, man. I mean, that movie's in damn broad daylight.
Yeah.
If you can make it scary in broad daylight, then you're doing good,
Okay.
You're doing good. But, the scare factor was not there for me. It's more of just like kind of like a psychedelic, like
It's
experience.
a trip.
Yeah.
A trip. Big, juicy creature tongue. I have a spine somewhere.
Yeah.
Just got a collection of human spines. Don't mind me.
Just a normal guy with a collection of spines.
I'm just a normal guy, you
That's
guys.
all it is. Your Honor.
Normal. Just a normal guy with a collection of human spines.
Let's check it out.
It's always fun when you like find something that you like. This was an old sketch that I did, and I hated it at the time, but now it's kind of rad. And
it's dope. Yeah.
And like this happens all the time. Where
fingers, man, look at those.
I
fingers.
love long fingers.
Oh.
I love long fingers.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this dude some longies.
You guys know how I feel about long fingers.
Everybody knows how you feel about long fingers.
Long fingers and lots of fingers.
Love fingers. You know who else loves fingers?
Who loves fingers?
I saw what you were gonna do there. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
What?
Were you gonna say? Have you tried finger?
No. Have you tried KF fingers, like KFC, but they're like chicken fried fingers?
No, I thought you were gonna do an Elden Ring joke. Like
there's lots of fingers in that.
Yeah. The entire game is hands and fingers.
Yeah,
the entire game.
What's going on with that? Why is that? What's going on?
I think George R.R. Martin has some sort of like Tarantino level hand fetish.
Oh, they got a weird thing going on. That makes sense. That makes sense. Bunch of sick.
You guys are disgusting.
You guys disgust me on a deep and personal level. So I need more cloth underneath. I need more cloth.
I need more cloth, Your Honor.
Your Honor, he doesn't have enough cloth. Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Now you're offer.
Hey!
Oh man, this is why people tune in.
Yeah, I think this is actually why people stopped tuning in.
This is why they stopped tuning in. They're like, I'm just here for ZBrush, guys. Just shut.
Yeah, will you be quiet? Put on some Avril Lavigne.
The amount of like tips versus like actual like substantive quality.
You know, they do say in the promo, you know, we really made sure that we really made sure that we're like, yeah, you know, shenanigans.
By the way, guys,
like this isn't. There might be a time where I don't give a single tip. I might just be talking about how, you know, Victor Crowley is the best slasher for 2 hours.
We did talk about the Milkman for a good chunk of time.
Yeah, and last episode
there used to be a guy that would come to your house with milk.
Insane. Not even like cold milk either.
No, it's like, here's some 3-day-old warm milk that's been in my van.
Yeah, it came out of an organ of a living creature, and don't you want it? I noticed you still get the newspaper. What about the milk, Tim? What about me?
You know, we whenever people talk about going back, they're not talking about going back to Milkman.
They're not, man. They're really not. And it's
sad. It's frankly super
sad. People have forgotten one of the most important things in the entire world, and that is that there used to be a man that delivered milk. There used to be a guy.
And this was a regular thing. Like, they'd let him into their house.
Yeah, they were best friends. You know, sometimes, you know, they'd get a little sneaky with the spouse.
They get a little schmicky.
Schmicky.
They get a little schmicky. But yeah, like we you know, he was like a member of the family, for God's sakes.
For God's sake.
For God's sakes. This guy gave us milk.
Jesus, Tim, what are you doing?
Jesus, God, Tim, you son of a bitch.
You
son of a bitch.
There we go.
Let's see. Oh, you know what I watched, and I wanted to talk to you about it.
Let's hear it.
I mentioned it on our group chat, and then like nobody talked about it. But I wanted to talk about it.
I hate to break it to you, man, but
no one cared.
It's rough. No, I'm kidding.
It's not me, it's you.
Yes. What's up? What'd you watch?
I watched The Deep House.
Oh, you said that. See, I've actually been looking at that for a couple of weeks, and he's like, "Hey, babe, we can go on this thing. And there's a house down there.
You go on Hulu.
Was it good?
You go on Hulu. Okay, so hear me out. Deep House.
It was filmed underwater.
The whole thing is filmed underwater,
which is very cool.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Because, like, for one, filming anything at all is insanely difficult. Like, just to get people to show up.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Now you got people showing up underwater for the entirety of the movie. Like 90% of that movie is shot underwater. So they have like reverse shot of like reactions and talking and scripting that they're doing. Dude, like they have to go underwater, and I'm sure they're mic'd, but they have to go underwater and like point to things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just
the amount of planning is just, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the logistics.
That's awesome.
The logistics of that show, of that movie, plot notwithstanding, and the plot is good. It's a good movie.
So you liked it?
I did. I actually liked it.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like, because, okay, sorry, actually go ahead, but I'm going to hold
No,
my
no, go ahead.
So my thought with like new movies that come out, if I get a vibe that it's going to be like, this place is haunted, I'm like, this is on the back burner.
Yeah.
Right, like Underwater, let's talk about Underwater for a second, just for a quick second. Like, you knew some shit was going down underwater.
Yeah, it was going to
go down. You're like, okay, I'm ready to see what's underwater. What's in Mariana's Trench?
Well, the name is Underwater.
Yeah. And this one is called the what? The Deep House?
The Deep House. So it's a very deep house.
The house is very deep. It's very deep. It has a lot of philosophical, opinions. It's deep,
That's a different kind of deep.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm taking it for, unless it's haunted.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. So, no, I mean, I think I did get that vibe, like, oh, it's a haunted thing. I'm not too sure that I care about ghosts, but I have no idea what the movie's about other than watching the trailer. It's like, hey, let's go on vacation. There's this house there. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll watch that sometime. But you're saying you liked it a lot.
Okay, you put a lot of emphasis on a lot.
Yeah, you're thinking 10 out of 10, or is it more of like a...
Like, would I leave everything in my will to them, the filmmakers of The Deep House? No, I would not.
Okay. Well, you heard it here, folks.
I'll give it a 7.
Oh, okay. Well, that's totally respectable.
Give it a 7. Look, like, it's better than a lot of crap you're gonna see. Yeah. And Hulu is pretty much where 20th Century is now dumping all their movies. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of movies coming out on it that Disney has no idea what to do with. So, but the Deep House is one of those, and I don't know, man. I dug it. I think the premise is insane, and then everything is underwater. This whole house is submerged underwater. There's other stuff going on in there, which I won't spoil.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil you.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to do it. I won't spoil you. I promise.
Don't do it.
I'm going to spoil you.
Okay.
So anyway, there's a bunch of Muppets in there.
So crap.
They're all wearing silly hats. Everyone's having a good time. But there's some, and the ending is satisfying. So I dug it overall.
Awesome. That's good.
I think it's worth, it's worth an exploration.
I am going to check that out.
Check it out. Well, did you ever see The Resort?
Yeah, I saw The Resort.
And that's also kind of in the genre of like young people go to location to examine it because it's haunted, and then they end up finding out like, yes, it is haunted.
Like it actually turns out we are stupid and it is haunted.
Yeah, you were really stupid for going.
It was a bad look.
You poorly planned this whole trip, and you got cocky, and you're gonna die.
You got cocky, O'Neill, and then
you got cocky, O'Neill. Did you say oatmeal?
I said whatever you think is funnier. That's what I said. That's my new go-to. Every time I make a joke, they're like, "Man, did you just say this?" And even if it's not what I'm like, I absolutely did, because you guys are hysterically laughing.
Because you responded to it, and therefore
it makes me look smart and hilarious.
It makes me look smart and quippy.
Quip-tastical.
Quipular.
Quim Diggins.
Quim Diggins. See, like, I've got it so like where the tongue is like a part of the cape. You know what I mean? Where it feels like kind of part of the
yeah, there's like a big upper. Still, you know what this reminds me of is kind of like a very classical mimic, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
It's like you think it's a guy, but you go up there and he's like, "Just kidding, I'm going to eat your entire body. Here comes."
Just kidding, my whole torso is a mouth.
My whole torso is a mouth.
I always love that in design when like you got the creature up here and then the torso is just a big mouth.
Yeah, I mean that was the first thing I did in look development. I was like, I'm gonna make a creature.
I'm gonna go creature in the mouth.
And it's a mouth.
And it's a mouth. And it's a mouth now. What was I looking for?
Now it's a mouth.
I was looking for some wings.
A purpose in life. Oh, too deep? Too deep house?
Oh, too deep house.
Oh, it's getting too deep house.
A little too deep house. Do I want to do some folded wings?
I will murder you. Do you ever talk to your software like that? Because I just did a thing and it was like, you can't do that. And I would just be like, I will murder you.
I will end you.
You need to do as I say.
I own you. In a way, like I own you.
I literally have a perpetual license, and I would like.
I would like to. I just want to let you know. I've got a very colorful wing.
It's the worst thing is whenever you're paying for a software and you're like brand new to. Okay, well here I'll just flat out say it.
I was gonna say it.
I'll flat out say it.
Oh my god! Don't say it.
I already ranted just a little bit about some farm rendering services.
Oh, you were farming.
I'm not gonna name them, but man, it's just like sometimes you're like, okay, I can't wait to do this, and then it just doesn't work, and I don't know how to start the rant because it's already ended and started a million times in my head. It's like, dude, I've done cloud rendering for like 7 years, and I'm talking to the support, and they're like, did you set your project before you submitted the job? And I'm just like, I will kill myself. Like, what is happening? Like, it's the equivalent of playing like, and have you checked that the computer's turned on?
Weird. Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I hear you in my dreams. I hear you.
Because this is funny. I just got a weird, like, high-pitched screeching sound.
Is there?
And like you just like straight up went like quiet.
Oh yeah.
Maybe my brain is breaking.
Maybe the shaman evil is.
Maybe the shaman did it.
Oh,
weird.
I heard that noise.
You heard that sound?
What that dude said? We got flash banged. That's pretty funny. I like that joke. Good job. Thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, weird. Like all my audio just went like super mute.
But it's back now.
It's back? No. I can barely hear you.
Oh, you can barely hear me?
I can barely hear you. It's not you, man. It like something blew up.
It's not me.
At least I hope not.
Well, I think maybe these guys can hear you. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can hear you. That's good, but it's like super faint now. Remember when you had that just like weird thing happen to your computer?
I don't think I've ever had anything weird happen to me.
No, nothing weird ever happens here.
What do you mean, though, Jared? Sorry, I'm just being silly.
Like, I can barely hear you.
Okay.
But I'm going to keep going because we've got about like 10 minutes left, so might as well just rock and roll.
Everyone's making great jokes, but they're not telling us if they can hear me or you.
Yes, their jokes are clear.
That's how we're
doing great.
We have the right audience.
He can't hear nothing.
Hey, Alex.
Nada.
What's going on, man?
I don't know. It's weird. I mean,
high pitch.
Oh, Alex.
You're saying you've got
FYI, high pitched nasty noise. Thank you. Somebody knows what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what the high-pitched nasty is. I don't know where that came from. And now I can't get rid of it. Okay, now it stopped. It's like a dog whistle on full blast. Yeah, I can hear that. I don't know what's going on. It just like randomly just like fired up. Okay, Matt, you unmute. Let's see. Was it Matt? Oh, that's Matt. Is that you?
I can't hear it.
I can hear it. Let me try some stuff. It's you? It's Matt? It's Matt. Okay. Matt. It's Matt. Matt did it. I thought it was me, man. I thought it was me. So Matt is only going to be signing to us with symbols. Maybe you can, hey, grab a Photoshop document and scribble words down. Is it microphone feedback? Everyone. Let's just put, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put Matt's face on full. We're just going to put Matt up on full here. There it is. Matt Millard. All right. You want to try your mic? You want? No. Is it gone? Is it 100% gone? Oh, nope. It's back. I think your video card is dying, my friend. All right. Well, unforeseen circumstances are part of the internet. All right. So, well, I mean, we're at time anyway. You want to just hang for like 10 minutes and you know, sign to us? Yeah. So, no, I mean full screen, but yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take you through Matt's piece that he's working on. We're going to do the check-in. So this is where Matt ended up today. Looks dope, dude. That's super cool. I like the horns. I like the wreath. The wreath is also super rad. All that cloth looks great. The barbs. Bust out a little chalkboard. Yeah, look at that. That's super cool. Oh, the barbed wire. Yeah, it's gnarly. This do cue cards. What's that movie? Love Actually, where they're dropping the cue cards. Fantastic, Matt. Thank you. We love you, Matt. All right, this is where I ended up. Not like as far as I wanted to go today, but I think Matt and I will continue. We'll do a part 2 of this next week, just because I want to expand on this as well. Get really weird with it. I want to do. Like I was thinking about maybe adding some eyeballs in the hands as well. Some weird fingers. Want to do some more stuff like this. Maybe we talked about like oozing. That would be fun, like fun little theme. And then I put some wings on it just to give it, you know, something for the silhouette. Kind of adds like a weird holy kind of vibe, like a angelic vibe to it. And then I might add I was thinking a creature tail, something kind of coming out, you know, maybe some Lovecraftian elements, you know, maybe some other more weird stuff. Like I like, you know, this is definitely, I don't get to do a lot of this kind of like super weird stuff. So this is fun. And then of course we got a baby. We got a baby right there. Yeah. Yeah. We're, hey, Deviant. Yeah, we're almost about to wrap up, but catch the replay on the YouTubes, on the YouTibies. All right, so I'm going to save this out, and then I thought I would do a check-in as well so you guys can see how Goliath is going. Goliath is one of those what I call a long haul project. So it's one that I've been working on. We started it on the stream, and this is one that I've been kind of like lunch crunching, so like 15 minutes a day. Sometimes I get more, sometimes I get less, but about like that much time. But this is where he's at right now. Let me throw on the proper material. So this is where he's going right now. So now I've got the body is all merged together. The arms and the wings are not merged, right? So they're not dynameshed in yet. And the reason why I'm not doing that yet is because just for, just to allow me to sculpt, to, single out areas like this. So I'm still working on the arms. Arms require just an insane amount of work. Plus the hands, I've resculpted like the hands a couple times, the back of the hands. So, this is an area in particular that, just needs a lot of work. That's because the fingers, originally I had them bent when they were down, just so I could get a relaxed feel for the pose. Now I'm unbending them. I'm straightening them out, doing another sculpting pass on this. This will require, quite a few passes to get right. He's got 3 fingers, so he's got like the turtle hands. The turtle hands even have less. They just got like 3. Anyway, so yeah, the tail is merged in, but I need to blend it via sculpting. I'm going to separate the toenails. So those are, those become different objects. Working on the cloth now. And the cloth, I'm going to break this up into a couple different objects as well. So it's coming together. I did do a little bit of hair work. This is just like temp hair. You can see it's just really ugly temp hair. This is just so I can get a vibe for like where the final hair is going to go. So just, still working on it. I did have it open in Keyshot, but not anymore. So progress is slow on this, but that's what this project requires. So this is not something I've been like, oh man, I'm going to get this done quick. No, this is slow work. Hey, thanks, Alex. That means a lot. So then I need to do another pass on the eyes. Like everything just requires more and more work. Then once that's done, I'll blend it all together and we'll do some proper topology on this. And I'm thinking I might pick up Wrap 3D if it warrants it. But, so much of this is just going to require like hand topo. So we'll get there. Anyway, so yeah, progress is slow, but still progress. Even if you're doing something for like 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, at least that's something, felt the same way kind of about, writing my script is same thing as like an hour a day is still an hour, whatever you can get in. All right. So Matt, let's see what, it's looking sick. It's looking sick. Matt can't talk to us because he only speaks in high-pitched screeches now. So sorry, dude. But that looks rad. I love the symmetry too. It's really cool. Like that shape of the shape of the horn is super awesome. It's rad. That's rad. I like everything that I'm seeing. So I guess that's it. We'll call it there. We'll say hi. Come say hi to us next time. Let me we'll tick these off and we'll close things out. So thank you everybody for joining us this week on Creature Corner. We hope to see you next week with more high-pitched screeching sounds. Give me a little one. Give me just a little. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. Yes, you do. No, no, no. One last question. I'll hit this, and this will be our last question. It's if this was studio work, how long would you take? I would take about a day to model it and a day to render and paint over. So at least a day to model. It depends, of course, on up Morse code. Matt's now speaking in high-pitched Morse code. No, okay. So it depends. I would take I would give myself a day to model and a day to render and paint. Depends on the project, of course. Hard surface always takes longer. And it depends if it's like a character piece. Usually if it's a character piece, you just start up here in the head, just because if you can get the head right, then you can design the rest of the body from there. So it all depends on the project. I just usually send them a photo of Matt's face as version 1. I say, tell me what you think about this. And then gauging their response on Matt's face, that tells me everything I need to know for the client. Like what do they think? He's going to eat his glasses. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out with me on Creature Corner. And thanks for hanging out with us, Matt, and all your high-pitched screeching. We'll see you guys next week. We love you. Be safe. Make some monsters.